who was working slightly apart from the others. He was hacking away at a bush with a machete as if it were his worst enemy. "The loner. His name's Josh, but they call him Crash because he killed a kid with a car he stole." "Did he go to prison?" "No. Lenin sorted it." James tried to sound as if he knew the leader of the Ghost Squad personally. "They're both from the Bevan estate. They've known each other all their lives." Matt threw the cigarette on the ground and stamped it out under the sole of his shoe. "I don't want to end up like that," he said, standing up. "It's all about choices, bro." James stood too, picking up his school bag. "Just remember that next time you're thinking of bunking off." The loner had got his machete stuck in the trunk of the bush. He left it there while he took a drink. Wiping his mouth with his sleeve, he looked around the park. "I think we should go," said Matt nervously. "Yeah." Time was running out for Joshua Jones. He'd had 5 days to pay back Lenin, his mum's dealer, and had wasted 4 of them cutting back bushes in Churchill Park. There was nothing left to sell other than the TV, which was the only thing that kept his housebound mother from going insane. Josh tried to free the machete from the trunk of the stupid bush, but it wouldn't budge. It was like that with his life right now. Nothing was going right for him. He just needed a break, for fate or destiny or whatever it was that kept giving him the shitty end of the stick, to just look the other way and deal out some good luck. He'd spent the last few days trying to think of a scheme that would make him a quick £3,000, but his options were limited. Cars, bikes, phones, they were all risky, and he couldn't afford to get caught again. This was his last life, as his offender manager had pointed out. The next offence would end up with him getting locked up for real. Prison time. And he couldn't bear the thought of leaving his mum on her own, not in her condition. A month ago he'd been caught in someone's shed. It was supposed to have been a quick job, a couple of mountain bikes worth at least £2,000 each. It had been a stupid, spur-of-the-moment thing which his mate Billy had said they could split 50-50. But Josh should have known better than to trust Billy. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the box and hadn't scoped it out properly. There'd been a dog, a big one, and it had taken a chunk of Billy's backside and trapped Josh inside the shed until the police arrived. He could tell the owners weren't that impressed when they discovered he was on first-name terms with the cops who showed up. At least they knew not to call his mum. The blade refused to budge. The morning sun had reached his end of the park and it was getting warm. Sweat had begun to trickle down his back. The kit they issued for community work was too cold in winter and too hot in summer, but he wasn't about to take his top off like the others. He had his reasons, and the lack of tattoos was only one of them. Josh gave up and stood back to review his work. The bush was definitely winning. It showed little evidence of his attempts to tame it while he was covered in scratches. Turning round, he saw that the other members of the crew were all sitting on the grass, smoking and playing with their phones. There was a mixture of newbies and old-timers, mostly from Lenin's gang, all paying for some stupid mistake. Josh had been here many times. He didn't try to make friends or swap stories anymore. He just kept his head down and let his reputation do the work for him. Their supervisor, Mr. Bell, or Bellend as they all liked to call him, was talking to one of the yummy mummies over by the kids' playground. It was a beautiful autumn morning and Churchill Park was filling up with young families enjoying the last of the good weather. The Salvation Army was out tidying up the flower beds around the War Memorial in preparation for VE Day, which seemed a bit pointless. After 70 years, he doubted there would be many actual veterans left to turn out for it. It was an old Victorian square, a park surrounded on 3 sides by large houses, the kind of homes his mother dreamed of. Beautiful old 3-story townhouses with big bay windows, spacious rooms and long gardens. A far cry from the 5th floor flat the council had given them. Still, he knew this park well. It had been one of his favourite routes to school. He'd explored every part of it, where the gaps in the